Hi, and welcome back. In this section, we're going to look at the past tense. As you probably already know, there are two kinds of past tense verbs. There are irregular verbs, which are usually a different word, and there are regular verbs, which end in ed. We simply add the letters ed to form the past tense. In this section, you can download a PDF of common regular verbs and common irregular verbs to help you to remember or learn them. So in the next section, we're going to be looking at some examples and then some more live video. So let's have a look. Okay, so let's have a look at some regular verbs. Close, closed. Did you close the door? Yes, I closed the door. Dress, dressed. Did you dress this morning? Yes, I dressed this morning. Dry, dried. Did you dry my jacket? Yes, I dried your jacket. Follow, followed. Did you follow me this morning? Yes, I followed you this morning. Jump, jumped. Did you jump over the river? Yes, I jumped over the river. Need, needed. Do you need any help? Yes, I needed help this morning. Let's have a look at the irregular verbs. And finally, let's have a look at some examples of irregular verbs. Be, was, were. Where were you last night? I was at the cinema. Become, became. When did you become a doctor? I became a doctor 2 years ago. Break, broke. Did you break a cup this morning? Yes, I broke a cup this morning. Buy, bought. Did you buy any beer yesterday? Yes, I bought some beer yesterday. Do, did. Did you go to the doctor's? Yes, I did. Come, came. What time did you come here today? I came here at 9 a.m. Now let's have a look at some film. Hello again. So there's just one more point about regular verbs. The verbs that end in ed. Most students get the pronunciation of ed quite wrong. For example, they might say walked, worked, talked, livid, without realizing that they're pronouncing the e, when in fact the e on the ed is not sounded, but it does have three different sounds. So if you look to the table on my right here, you'll see that, for example, there's a T sound, there's a D sound, and there's an id sound. For example, instead of saying I walked to the shops, I looked at the book. It's looked, walked. I walked to the shops. So in actual fact, in the word walked, the E is completely silent and is replaced by a T sound. Also, the word clean, cleaned, the past tense of the verb to clean, cleaned, that is replaced by a D sound, like a single D. I cleaned my motorcycle. The other one is id. For example, I painted my house. So painted, P-A-I-N-T-E-D, but the ed is pronounced as an id, as in id. So I painted my house. And this can be quite difficult to change if you are in the habit already of using the ed sound, walk ed, paint ed, clean ed, for example. But the best way I found to help people to correct that mistake is just remember that it's not ed and pronounce the next easiest option, and usually that's the one that's right. Okay. All right, so let's move on. Renata, what are you doing?
I'm reading a book.
Did you read a book yesterday?
Yes, I read a book yesterday.
Renata, what are you doing?
I'm cooking.
Did you cook yesterday?
Yes, I cooked yesterday.
Renata, what are you doing?
I'm eating an apple.
Did you eat yesterday?
Yes, I ate an apple yesterday.